to another episode of Love and Black with Tory and Terry. I'm your host, Tory.
And I'm Terry. You guys know that. Happy Friday. Woohoo!
I know.
How you doing? Hope you had a great week. This is a good week.
It was a good week. It's always a good week
Yes,
with us.
it is.
I mean, hey, we're marriage counselors, so it's always a good week.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but our set's different. This is the second season of Love and Black with Tory and Terry. So, yay for that. We got a lot to celebrate. We haven't had a chance to, though, you guys. So maybe as we get going this season, we'll get a chance to kind of celebrate with our viewers. What do you think?
Yeah, so, on our radio show the other night, we had what we call a viewer appreciation night.
Yeah.
And we invited one of the viewers on set to actually, sit with us, and we talked with them, and we're so glad they were such an interesting couple, and we just had a lot of fun with them.
Yeah.
That was a couple weeks ago on the radio show, and can't wait for this COVID thing to get over so we can start bringing guests in-house. But
I feel like we're being held back by the collar. Like, you're ready to run, like, at the racetrack, or not the racetrack, but like, if you're running track and they fire the gun. I feel like we're being held back by the collar because we're so ready to go with creative ideas and just all these things we're thinking we want to do with you guys or for you guys too.
After all, we are a variety show, and we can't get that much variety in on Zoom or whatever we use.
Yeah, gotta get creative.
Yeah, but we do have a special in-house guest today, though.
Yeah. She's beautiful, you guys. She's smart and brilliant, and she's just a treat overall. And she's really going to be a treat to you guys. So, yeah, we're going to bring her shortly. Well, okay. Well, no, it's like, we always do this. Okay, so I do want to say, well, that's why I said she's going to be a treat. But she's a doctor.
She's a sex doctor.
She's a sex doctor, you guys. Yes. So she's here tonight.
She's going to
join
get
us.
Sexy on.
Okay, yeah, so she's coming tonight. She's going to sprinkle you, because I'm the love fairy in our marriage counseling. Those that have had marriage counseling with us know that I'm the love fairy. So she's going to come and she's going to sprinkle some dust. We need to get some dust, some fairy dust going on with you guys, some love dust. So yeah, she's going to be here with us this evening.
Speaking of love dust, hey, we had a romantic dinner last week, I guess it was. I forget the date. But anyway, at one of our favorite restaurants, Gracie's, which is also our sponsor. So we definitely want to give you guys a shout out. If you guys are in the Houston area, Gracie's restaurant off of Kirby they got breakfast, they got lunch, they got dinner, they got it all.
I want to thank them for the special treatment. They were so good to us, just so good to us. They always
they've
are.
Always been good to us.
I said they always are, but it just feels good, especially to be able to go and just woosah and have a nice meal. Because it's always a meal on the go.
So speaking of Gracie's, as being one of our sponsors, as you guys know, all you got to do is write in to participate in our contest and just send a letter to. You don't have to send a letter. Just send an email to us at loveandblack1@gmail.com. And all you have to do is say why you love and black. And then you will win gift certificates to Gracie's, or we have a couple other sponsors as well. But you're going to win a special treat from us. And tonight's special winner is...
Drum roll. I don't have it.
We didn't get
because
the right
I'm
drum
sitting
roll.
here, you guys.
Good,
Normally, I beat on something. We got to get a drum roll. I think we've gotten to that place now. We can get a drum roll.
Yeah, instead of that whack one she always does. But anyway,
Whatever.
Our winners for the Johnny Carrabba's Gracie's gift certificate is Lawrence Mitchell. Congratulations,
Congratulations, Lawrence.
So we'll get with you guys. We'll get with you and your wife to get you your gift cards for Gracie's.
And even with the email. So if you guys want to email us why you love and black, let me just give you a tip, because I know some of you might have writer's block. But love and black, remember what it means. It means your love is in the positive. Just like your finances, you don't want them in the red. You want them in the black.
So I mean, you don't have to, bottom line, you don't have to be black to watch the show. So
And that too.
Anyway, check this out. So we have, we mentioned Dr. Angela that's coming on.
You just said it. He just said it, so he spoiled it.
So anyway,
that's my husband.
We mentioned Dr. Angela, but tonight's topic is my sex life is in low gear.
Ooh.
Yeah. Not mine, but
I'm not saying nothing. I'm over here. I'm his biggest cheerleader. No, but honestly, we do want to help there's some people that are going through it, so it's like we want to help you. And you never know. If you haven't, sometimes you will. You're on your way to. You never know what life will bring you.
Yeah.
But we're going to go there.
Especially getting old like me, so body parts start falling off and everything.
No, he's good.
That
guys,
thing,
he's good.
That thing where they say when you're over 40, check your check engine light.
I think we need to go to commercial. But you know what? I'm going to make it clear. He's good. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back to Love in Black after these messages.
Now come test drive the much-anticipated all-new 2021 Cadillac Escalade at Ron Carter Cadillac. And for a limited time, get an unheard of $19,000 in total savings on new 2020 Escalades, or pay just $879 a month with only $1 down, only at Ron Carter Cadillac. Visit us today, Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway. Visit RonCarterCadillac.com, Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer.
I'm attorney Willie Powles. Allow me to express myself with you. If you've been hurt or injured in a car or truck accident, give me a call and we'll get it fixed today.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
And now, back to Love in Black with Tory and Teri.
Welcome back, you guys. Listen, as you can see, we have our lovely guest. Tory spoiled the surprise. So we have Dr. Angela here, and you can find Dr. Angela. We're going to give you all her handles, but she is on the Isaiah Factor channel, and she has Angela After Dark. Angela After Dark. She's our sex doctor, sex therapist, and she's here, and she's gorgeous. Hi, honey. Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So glad you're here. Got questions?
Yes.
We got questions. I know they got questions, so we're going to try to ask questions for y'all, okay? What you got, honey? You go first.
I just want to know how you're doing today.
I'm good. I'm good, blessed. It's great. So I'm just happy to be here with y'all. Y'all have good energy. So.
Appreciate it.
You've seen her before. She's been on our radio show, Gospel Radio Nation. Yeah, she's with the Coach's Corner. So yeah, when we have people come in, so we're glad to have her with us on this.
Yes, we are. So don't call into the studio asking about all these questions about your sexual anatomy and all this crap. But we are in for a special treat tonight because one of the letters that we chose to use, even though we're 2/3 women today, we're going to be talking about a man's issue. And again, the title of this show is My Sex Drive is in Low Gear. So, or is it my sex life? I think it's my sex life, whatever it is. But anyway, somebody's sex life is in low gear, and we're going to try to help rev it up.
And it's not just men, but I mean, we're focusing on men today, but this is something, would you say that this happens with women too?
Yes, it does.
Yes, libido,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us, what does a sex therapist do? Actually.
Oh man, what don't we do?
So marriages is one.
Right. So the thing is, when it comes to a sex therapist or anybody that focuses on sex, a lot of people have certain misconceptions in their head as to what we focus on. So they think of movies like Meet the Fockers and stuff like that, and there are sex therapists that do that. But I always tell people, I know it's such a great movie, right? So, but as far as what I do, I see myself as a therapist that specializes in something. So if you come into me and you're dealing with depression or an anxiety or anything like that, I'm able to deal with that. But say you do have sexual trauma, or you're having sex issues in the current moment, or if you come in as a couple and you guys just want to increase or understand what's going on sexually in your marriage, or there's been some dysfunctions, or there's been some, disruptions in your sex life, then I'm usually there to help you with that. So it just, you come to me if you want somebody who knows just a little bit more, maybe a lot more about sex, intimacy, and so on.
That's good. Look, see, one-stop shopping for her too. Look at that. Love it.
You mentioned something interesting when you just said about sexual traumas.
Yeah.
And as you know, with us being marriage counselors, male and female, we run into a lot of clients that have sexual trauma stemming from childhood. And they realize it, but they don't realize what's going on.
Right.
Because most of them have never sought help.
Right.
So what would you say to someone that experienced some type of sexual trauma as a child, and they just don't know what's going on because it's affecting their entire life?
See, a lot of people, it's affecting their life and they don't realize where it's stemming from. So if you had sexual trauma period, and you've never actually sought help for it, just go seek help for it first. And if you, it doesn't matter if it's 10 years ago, 20, 30, 40 years ago, that point in your life, whatever happened, either it was a one-time incident or it was an ongoing incident, you need to be able to understand how that moment or those moments have affected your life, because people don't realize how sexual trauma can affect how you are as a parent, how it affects you as a friend, affects you at work. And so if you're having work issues and you're having issues working with coworkers, of course you're not going to sit there and be like, oh, this is because of my sexual trauma.
Right. Or even with your spouse. Some people don't even want their friends.
Absolutely.
And family members.
Absolutely.
Right.
So
it's pretty sacred. Not everybody shares that. Yeah.
There's those things in our life, those pivotal moments that really just change the trajectory of our life. I don't know, who's watching, but if you've seen the movie Back to the Future, how he explains, like, you have that one timeline, but there's something that happens and it changes
That's right. That's right.
And that doesn't mean that
I can't believe you've seen that yet.
Yes, I have. So even though you go into that alternate reality, that reality doesn't have to be a bad reality. It's just now your life has changed. So you have to address it. It doesn't matter if you feel like you're over it or not. This is something that you need to work through with a professional.
Wow. And in that same vein, right? Although they may or may not have received treatment for that, what are some of the things that they experience? Because you hear so much about men or women that were sexually molested as a child, but then instead of them shying away from it, it seems like they gravitate more to it in the sense of being very promiscuous, or also being, where instead of that being a deterrent, it just, I don't know how to explain it.
I know what you mean. Yeah, and it can be from 0 to 10.
Yeah, I was going to
you
say
can
from
either
one spectrum
have
to the other.
an adverse reaction to sex. You don't want it. You don't want intimacy. You don't want anybody to touch you, and it causes you to have problems later in life to get close to somebody. For even people to touch you, you get triggered, right? So we have that, and then we
triggers,
have those.
we talk about triggers, you guys. Yeah.
Right, and and then we have those who do go on the opposite end of the spectrum, and they may become a little more promiscuous, or because they're not understanding the value of their bodies. So but then there's people in the middle that were able to actually process it, I would say, well, and I'm putting that in air quotes, and they didn't really waver on either side. So it's just, I think we hear the extreme stories the most. So the people that are either at 10 or 0, we don't really hear like the 4, 5, 6s, right?
Right.
And I think it's safe to say we always hear the 9s, 10s, 11s even sometimes. Wow.
Yeah, I do believe, I experienced that as a child, and I think I've shared that before. But I believe that you do what you can for your healing, and it does change the trajectory. Because I used to be very quiet, believe it or not. I used to be quiet. Anyway, but it does, because it's almost like the caged bird sings. So you start to, you really do. It kind of can change you and bring things out.
Absolutely.
But I think that also too, like you said, the 5s and 6s when you talk about that spectrum, that that is somewhat milder for how one can move forward and not live there.
Right.
Not stay there.
Right.
You know, and it just depends on the individual. It really, really does. And just how the magnitude of how it affected them, you know what I mean, in different periods of time. So yeah.
And I recently had a client, you know, she experienced something when she was younger, and she's on her second marriage, and now she's realizing what's happening.
Do they block it out?
It's not that they block it out. She's very high. They're high functioning. They're successful. Everything. They have it. They have everything they need. So for that individual, they're just like, it didn't affect me until something happens.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. We definitely see that. Earlier you mentioned, like it was a long time ago, but earlier a few moments ago you mentioned about misconceptions. What are some misconceptions of a sex therapist?
Misconceptions is that we're going to teach you how to have sex. Right? So
that is what people think. I heard. Yeah, can you imagine those when we went to commercial? Like, hey, get in here.
Right.
Get tips for free tonight.
Well, I do teach you how to have sex, but I don't physically teach you how to have sex.
Get this.
That's
get that.
for
Say it
me,
again.
right?
Get
so
that.
Depends on where you're at in the state licensing. Like, there's some places like in Meet the Fockers, they had those things where they were practicing positions. You can actually do that. But most don't. We usually, it's more of a talk therapy type of thing, right? And then we have you go home and practice things. We'll give you diagrams. We'll tell you things to do. We help you understand your own body. We help you understand your partner's body, diagrams. So, I mean, it can get pretty intimate, right? Yeah. I'm not going to do it for you, though, right?
And so that's work.
And so that's one of the misconceptions. And the other misconception is that...
No, put your hand right there. No, move it.
Right. I don't do that.
A little lower.
I tell you to do it, and then I tell you to go home to do it, right? But the other misconception...
Video instructions.
Yeah. Right. I don't want to see your videos, but we could talk about it. We could definitely talk about it, right?
Right.
But the other misconception is that the only thing a sex therapist does is talk about, like, how to be better in bed. But just like we talk about sexual trauma, we talk about sexual dysfunction.
Sure.
So we talk about more than just how to be a better lover in the bed.
Because we're counselors, we understand that. But to the layperson that may not, oh wow. So how's the, I don't know, do you have more men or women as clients, or is one particular gender kind of apprehensive towards seeing a sex therapist?
I love the smile. The face you made.
So right now I have more females, but I do have a good chunk of males. But I realize that the men come because they came as a couple or their significant other told them to come. C-O-M-E. Right. They attend therapy.
Right.
Usually because their significant other is influencing them to come, or like, hey, I will come with you, and then they realize, okay, as a man, let me talk to Dr. Jones on my own.
Right.
But I've had quite a few men come or attend therapy and talk to me on their own.
So, are you doing the Zoom, or these are in person interviews?
I'm doing both right now.
You're doing both.
I do both.
The whole mask and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say,
we're gonna give you guys your information. Don't worry.
That want their husbands to come in, right? Or the husbands chomping at the bit to come in, or like with us, they're reluctant. And we always know if we get a call or a lead and it's from a man, that means that it's gone way almost
it's pretty serious,
irreparable.
Right.
Help, SOS.
Yeah.
And I know it's kind of like we're grouping it together, but I would say statistically, more women are the ones who seek out therapy first, even for a marriage and couples. If it is a man that does reach out to me, I have noticed it's dealing more with sex issues with the wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And that could stem from those traumas and things like that.
Or, our bodies change and they don't understand what's going on and they just want some help understanding it. Yeah. So, it really depends. I'm not trying to stereotype men and women, but right now I do have more women.
Okay.
So listen, you said that you do it by Zoom, right?
Yes.
So that means you can be global with this.
Well, my licensing only allows me to do it in Texas. So
it's no reciprocity to say, hey, this is what this looks like.
So if you were my client in Texas and then you move, I could still see you via Zoom. But
You can use our address. No, I'm just
Right.
playing.
Let's say the licensing for a counselor or a psychologist is state by state.
Yes.
So if I wanted to do it
Yes.
in another state, I have to do whatever they need me to do to get that license over there.
Okay.
Some states are easy, some states are not.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There we go, repeating each other.
know.
Look, I'm gonna ask this question here because I want to make sure I get it right. Do women primarily look for sexual performance, or are they more orgasm focused? And the reason I say I want to read this
good question.
is
That is.
because we get letters in, and also some of the questions I've just kind of extracted from some of the letters, but I thought that was a good one.
That is actually a really
Very
good question.
good.
So women are performance. Majority. I'm not saying all women are. I don't know the percentage. Don't ask me. But
missed that
we
class.
are looking for. I just don't remember. But we are more looking for the performance, and it is because statistically we do have orgasms less than men, right? So when a man is finished, it's apparent. We can see it. It's obvious. But for women, the way we orgasm, we can orgasm in so many different ways.
Yes.
And
Yes.
What?
yes, yes, we can orgasm in different ways.
Look,
I
I'm
mean,
over
there's
here
levels
like,
to it,
my
right?
died.
Hold on, man, turn your volumes up on
Turn
this
it
one.
up, right?
Did you
I need to
see
hear this.
Dr. Angela, I'm over here like,
Right, there's
hi,
levels to it.
Yes.
And so performance,
Tell
sometimes
it.
women, we just want to feel pleased. That doesn't mean we want to finish. I mean, I know personally I would want to, but there's some people who don't.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
but
All of a sudden, this conversation got very uncomfortable.
you asked the question. Who asked
That's
it?
right.
You did.
That's right.
I'm
So,
just
She's
kidding.
gonna let you know.
so
I'm
the
just
thing
kidding.
is, yeah, so, for women, it's about the performance. It's about how you pay attention to our bodies, how you're paying attention to the way we move, our sounds. And that matters to
Absolutely.
us more than anything,
Okay.
And then, of course, I think the cherry on the top is have an orgasm.
Multiple.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I'm just
Multiple.
saying. So, and then for women, women are more likely. Thumbs up, guys.
Yeah.
I like their vibe. So, for women, once you orgasm and you continue, if a man continues to please her, she is going to orgasm faster each time after that. So if
Whoa, repeat that?
Yeah, you got to say
right.
it again.
Say it slower.
So for a man, typically when he finishes, I'm just gonna say when he finishes, he's typically out for a little bit, for either a couple
Oh, you
minutes.
talking about a 50-year-old man or a 20-year-old?
No,
It
they
depends.
have to refuel.
I say a little bit, so it can
Yeah.
range from a couple minutes to sometimes a couple of hours
Yeah.
before a
See, I
man
got
can
this
get
fan.
back up again, right?
And for those of you that don't know, that's called a refractionary period. So I'm trying to sound smart now. I'm messing up the word.
I don't even remember it right now. But whatever he just said. But for women, if we orgasm,
Y'all, this is so much fun.
right? If we orgasm and you as a partner continue to please her, right after, she will be able to orgasm faster and faster and faster. So if it took 10
Really?
minutes
It's
the
a
first
whole
time,
other world.
right? It'll take 10 minutes the 1st
I'll be
time. It
screaming,
could be
mistletoe,
5 minutes.
mistletoe.
So all of it.
Safe word.
Look, they're telling their secrets, people. Do you hear them? They're telling their
Mistletoe.
secrets.
Come up with your own.
Yeah. So for women, we care about performance.
Okay.
We care about how you pay attention to us. You have to study us the way you want
That's
us
true.
to study
That's
you.
right. That's right. That's right. Tell
It
it.
is nighttime.
I am here.
They're gonna be mistletoeing later.
The mistletoe's like, hey, I can't do no more stuff.
But it's true. I mean, that's one thing about, especially with a woman. Okay, let me ask you this. This is another question. Does a woman have to feel, because they say, women fall in love by that connection. So would it be
Emotional connection.
Yeah, the emotional connection, because the emotional connection's tied to sex. They say men, it's not. Is that so? Is that
But for
true?
women, it's a possibility. It doesn't have
Right.
to be either.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
if
Yeah,
you-
don't
if
get it
you
twisted,
get-
you guys. Don't get it
Right.
twisted.
If you get a person that you just met, and I'm just putting an example out there. If you find somebody you just met, but he understands how to please a woman, I mean, you'll
Yeah.
probably forget you just met
Right,
him.
right.
But emotional connection makes the intimacy just that deeper, that much better.
Always.
Well, that's what they say. That's where the
woman
woman falls in love because of that, because of emotional connection with that.
Well, you have to think about the chemicals in our brain while we're having sex. I mean, there's things going on in our brain, in our body. Our hormones are all working at the same time.
Is that glucose or is that
It's
pheromones?
serotonin, dopamine, all those things are
Serotonin.
happening. And so the idea of what love feels like is most likely going to happen when we're having sex because we feel great. I mean, we just had an orgasm, the chemicals are going on. I mean, it's like
it's
this
a form
must
of
be
exercise,
love.
you guys. Like
and
that's a
all
little
of sudden,
cardio
"Ooh,
there.
I love
Yeah.
you comes out. It's like,
Right, and it must be love.
you
But
say?
I almost guarantee when women do that and they're like, and it's like out of nowhere, I almost guarantee 5 minutes after it's done, she's like, "Why did I say that?"
Right.
But
and the guy's like, "Oop, time to go."
right. So
He's
it's
like, "Oop,
just
time to go."
we're caught up in the moment.
Caught up in the moment.
There we go.
I love it. I love it.
So let me ask another one here. What exactly should someone expect at their first sex therapy session? And we got about 2 or 3 minutes before
No
we go to
problem.
break.
So expect, of course, to get asked a lot of questions. You're going to get
Like we're doing.
right, but you're
Yeah.
also going to be
I
asking
mean, she's
questions.
here.
If you're there specifically only for sex therapy, know that it doesn't mean that all the questions are going to be geared towards sex. We need to understand where you're at physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Okay.
So it's going to be almost like an assessment, trying to get an idea of where you're at. What is the sex problem that you believe that you have? And I say almost 80% of the people who think they're there for sex therapy turn out to be just there for therapy.
So sex
Yeah.
is not the operative word.
Not really.
It's more so, like you just said, therapy.
Yes.
There's other stuff.
yeah.
Because even with the sex, I mean, like we were talking about the connection, you gotta feel that person, be connected to them to be able to really respond to them. And so if they've got other hidden things, it's not about the sex. You get those things taken care of, the sex will start to flow. Those things will come
Right,
about.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where the intimacy comes in. And
Right.
you know, we've taught so many in the last few years, we taught so many men, okay, intimacy does not equal sex.
No.
Well, please clarify that, would you?
Intimacy is moments of connectedness. So me talking to you and looking at you in your eyes and I'm feeling close to you, that's intimacy. Intimacy is me walking down the street and we're holding each other's hands. Like those are intimate moments, right?
Physical
Sex is not
touching, but
intimacy.
not
It's a
Absolutely.
form. It's
Physical
one
Massages,
form.
touching, all of those things are considered intimate because you are bonding with somebody else.
Absolutely.
It's me connecting to you. Sexual, physical intimacy is just another form of intimacy, you know? So it's levels to
we
it.
always say building up the intimacy
Exactly.
to that
Yeah.
part. you
Yeah.
know. That's
I
the
mean,
crescendo. there.
Even the text and the different,
All
you
of
know,
it.
thinking of you and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's intimate because it's between one human being with another human being.
You guys catch
It's
that?
you know, you are having an intimate conversation. You know, that's because I'm bonding with this one
And
person.
focused
So
and narrowing
for those
in.
of you that are our clients, you always know we always talk about emotional attunement, and emotional attunement is part of that. You know, so you know what your partner likes. You know, like hashtag smack her on the butt. You guys heard us say that a million times.
You guys remember
already.
that from Fox Soul, yeah. Pretty much.
I know, right? But no, so that's good to, you know, for them to hear, especially from a therapist.
Yeah.
You know, your caliber, because again, you know, a lot of, matter of fact, I don't know if we had any guys other than me in our counseling session that knew the difference. And of course, obviously, I didn't know years ago. You know,
I mean, you have to learn these type of things. I mean, you'll be amazed. I mean, not you'll be amazed, but you are obviously, you think of the stuff that you were taught, and then you realize the stuff you were not taught.
Exactly. Exactly.
And as a man, you're not
Damn,
really.
Uncle Roy, you taught me.
I know. As a man,
mess me up.
but most men, and I'm saying
You
most,
said go to the right, she went to the left. What's
right,
up?
right. They're taught about the sex part, like
Yeah.
just get the sex done. Women are taught about love and connection, and so when you get a man and a
Why
woman,
is that?
it's culture. It's
It
a
is.
cultural thing.
It
you
is.
know?
And the pleasing.
Well,
and
and I say what is that
You know we're
surprise?
about to
No.
go. Don't go
Well,
too far.
I say
We're about
I
to
know
go.
we're about to go to commercial, but I say that surprisingly because in a lot of areas across the country, there's single parents that are raising children. And
Nobody's having these
nine times out of 10 is a woman raising a male child.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So how come there's no, and I know it's no conversation, but how come it can't be like, son.
Because you got a lot of mama's boys and she's not trying to have that conversation. We'll be right back. Don't go away, you guys. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back to Love in Black after these messages.
Ron Carter Cadillac, Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, delivers test drives to your home or office, like the new 2020 XT4 Luxury Collection, only $299 a month, the new 2020 XT5 Premium Luxury Collection, $399 a month, or the first ever 2020 XT6 Premium Luxury Collection, just $499 a month, all for 39 months lease with just $1 down, or purchase and choose 0% APR for 60 months plus $2,000 bonus cash with no payments until March 2021. Visit RonCarterCadillac.com.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, truck accident, car accident? Was someone texting and ran into the back of you, not paying attention? It doesn't matter what it is. Give me a call, Attorney Willie Powles. We'll fix it today. The number is 281-881-2457. Again, that number is 281-881-2457. We'll fix it today. Call Attorney Willie Powles.
And now, back to Love in Black with Tory and Teri.
Hey, and we're back. Man, we're having a great conversation here.
It's always like that.
Look, our last show, my wife, I remember her distinctly saying, or not last show, but we had the men's panel. I remember her distinctly saying, put the kids to bed and get your popcorn ready and all of that.
You need to put that disclaimer out there.
I know, right? So if it's not too late, put the kids to bed because matter of fact, we already get into something, right? So we're going to get into the letter.
Yeah. Okay, I got one more question before we go to the letter, though. Okay, so let me see. What are some conceptualizations about male sexuality that often add unhelpful pressure for the man to see a sex therapist?
That men are supposed to always get an erection when they want it, right? So there's this misconception that a man's libido...
I don't think that's a misconception.
No, but it is a misconception because that's a lot of pressure for a man, like that your libido is always on, right? So
that's not the case, obviously.
Exactly, and sometimes there's other things happening, other things on your mind, stress, diet, all these different things cause a lot of pressure for men to perform in bed. A man is supposed to technically always have the switch on, right? And he's supposed to make the woman's switch turn on, and that's not always the case.
Who said that, Chef?
But you know what? Honestly speaking, that is a misconception because when you think about it, there's financial matters, there's work. I mean, because they're the head of the family, whatever. So there's a lot of pressure on their shoulders, and men do carry that.
Well, you said it, baby. When you said coronavirus, COVID, because it used to be, hey, we protected here, and now it's like, hey, you ain't coughing, right?
Right, but there's a lot of things, I mean because even the stresses that the pandemic has brought on, like I said, loss of job, and there's a lot of people suffer. There's a lot of people going through stuff right now.
And then there's an idea that as a woman, the man should know what to do. And he's not going to know what to do to you.
Exactly.
Right?
Whose job
you
is
have to teach him to know what to do. So if you're unsatisfied with your sexual experience with somebody, you need to ask yourself, did you just give him the torch and expect him to know?
What Jill Scott say? What Jill Scott say?
I don't know. She said a lot.
she said about that cologne. Smell good on you, not him, right?
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is we have to, you're right, and we have to know we have to teach, like you say, you always say, we teach people how to treat us. It's nothing different when it comes to the bedroom.
Same thing.
So let me ask this guy's question here.
I know we got to get in the letter.
Men over 50, maybe even 45. This is real important because I had to read this twice myself. Okay. Dear Tory and Teri,
on, y'all.
I am a 56-year-old male that is undergoing some change of life issues that I can't deal with. My wife can't help me, and I feel embarrassed to even come to her because it is dealing with my manhood, if you know what I mean. The bottom line is, not only can I not perform as I once could, I think I may have ED. I need my glasses. I have seen my urologist and have taken both types of pills, and neither of them seems to work. I have been tested for ED and had a prostate exam, and they both came back negative. The doctor said that I just need to lose some weight and that it is psychological, but I know that it's not. How do I deal with this issue with my wife as all of a sudden her sexual appetite has increased,
right,
and I can't get my main man to act right? I don't want to lose her, and she doesn't understand what I'm going through, or she doesn't care.
So there's so many key things, right? So he said, she doesn't understand what I'm going through, nor does she care. But you also said, not you, the person who wrote the letter also said earlier, I know it's not psychological. How do you know that? I didn't hear that he went to therapy. I didn't hear that he got assessed. So he is assuming like, oh, it ain't nothing, but she don't know what I'm going through. Well, clearly there is something, right?
Something. Yeah.
So one of the things about ED, people say, can you prevent it? There are things that you can do to really reduce your chances of having ED.
Okay, you guys get a note, get a pen and a notepad. No, seriously,
right.
Get a pen and a notepad.
Don't wait till you're 50 to get tested. Okay, 40. I even would go up to 35 these days, and I'll tell you why soon. 40, get your testosterone checked out. Always, that's the first thing you need to do before you assume it's anything else.
Well, before men are 30, testosterone levels start to dip anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's why I even say 35, because it can start dipping even then. If you're a smoker, if you drink, if you have high blood pressure, diabetes. People, men
high
with
blood pressure is one of the. I think you can't even discover high blood pressure until it gets like really high, and I know that's one of the contributing factors.
Absolutely.
Well, even too, couldn't it be hereditary? Could it be?
I mean, the sicknesses.
Genealogy,
yeah, right.
yeah.
So, 50% of men with diabetes are likely to have ED. So you have to get your blood sugar under control. Okay. And it's not only about you can't get up. Sometimes you'll get up, but you can't stay up.
Can't stay there.
Right.
That's why the doctor said to lose weight, look into the weight management.
Right.
Too.
You have to do all those things in order for you to reduce the number of getting erectile dysfunction. I feel like for men, that should be a huge motivator. If you want to keep it, going viral.
What if it's not though? What if they, like you just said, they may have those issues or they may not.
Right.
But it's just, once you reach a certain age, things just start, that check engine light come on.
Absolutely.
And that happens for men where they go and women's go up at a certain age,
so
right?
So it's funny because
6 of one, half a dozen.
Well, no, because when teenagers and early 20s,
that's when the men are
really
up.
high,
and then the women's go up at what, like 40?
That's why we lose all our testosterone.
They're on E.
We're on E.
No pun intended.
Oh, I got you.
So the thing is that when you are worried about why don't I want sex as often, and you're in your 40s and your 50s, that's fine. I mean, it's okay. You're not going to want to have sex as often as you did when you're in your 20s.
Exactly.
You're busy. Honestly, your body just can't really handle it. A reduce of libido is okay. However, when you do want to have sex, that's what you have to pay attention to. What is happening to my body? Now, if you never want to have sex, that's another issue, right? That's a libido issue. If you're able to get an erection, but it's getting
What's
soft.
the difference?
So libido is just your desire to have sex. Like you actually feel, as we call horny, like you just don't feel that anymore. That's a reduction, but that happens to men and women.
But
I was going to say, get out of my head. I was just going to say, that's women too.
Yes.
Women, come on, you guys know too. So I mean, and remember, we kind of have to help them to get, so that's why I call myself the love fairy and counseling, because I give you guys tips and tricks.
Now everybody gonna be taking our counseling sessions.
I'm just saying, tips and tricks help. I gave somebody something the other day. He was like, "Hey, can we do that?"
No, I did say that. I know, like, hey, you never suggested that
For couples, I always say you have to remain curious about your partner. Once we stop being curious, then that's when you start feeling dull.
But what happens if it is a psychological factor, though?
A psychological stress, work, finances. She just said it, like the pandemic. As a man, you can't provide, and you're tired all the time, or maybe you're working too much, and you don't have time to focus on yourself.
It's a lot. It's not always up in the mind, but it's a lot of
majority of people men who have ED also have either depression or anxiety or post-traumatic stress disorder, but they're not treating those, and therefore, for the long term, you haven't treated your depression, anxiety, or whatever it is.
Forget about medical issues.
Exactly.
Because certain like painkillers and things like
medicine.
that.
Oh, medicine too.
Right.
Medicine affects it.
Exactly. So if you're a man and you have anxiety and you take anxiety medication, a lot of anxiety and depression medication not lowers your libido, but makes it hard for you to get an erection.
So it affects your testosterone?
It's just the side effect of some of the medication. So you need to talk to your doctor, like, hey, I'm taking this and I want to help my anxiety, but I also want to be able to get an erection. Then you'll have to kind of play with different kinds of medications.
Yeah, I mean, because you've even heard of people that don't take their medication because they don't want to, and then you're putting your life at risk.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I think it's really good.
I've had a lot of men who put their health at risk because they want to get an erection.
Wow.
I've heard it.
Yeah.
I've even heard a sermon where T.D. Jakes talked about it. I mean, it's a real deal.
But here's the thing, as a partner, as a woman, and you're in this relationship with this man, you have to remember, like, he's not going to just sit there and tell you these things. You have to start asking these questions. So that's why it's good. Not only are we talking to the men right now, we're talking to the women. If you have a man that's over 40 and you're realizing there's changes in the bedroom, don't shame him.
Yes.
Then that's going to cause performance anxiety.
Exactly. And it's just snowballs.
And then they get nervous.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, okay, am I going to stay up?
And
then
that's going the wrong direction.
Right.
Don't go that way.
Yeah. So you have to be supportive. Talk to your partner. It's not always about you. You know, the first thing we do as women is say, oh, he must not be attracted to me anymore. That's typically not the case. He's just too ashamed to tell you why. So, I mean, the thing is like we have to, just like we want them to understand when we go through menopause and we're going through different bodily changes and things like that, we have to be able to understand that they have issues as well, and it can mess up their erection.
Yeah. So is there a time when
it's not that
it fluctuates again, where now the woman has menopause, but now the man is like ready? So that happens a lot?
Absolutely. So you know how you guys said earlier, like in the letter, he said his wife wants to really have sex right now. And it's probably because she is owning her body, she understands how her body works, and she's probably comfortable in her own skin, right? And now, unfortunately, he's having this issue. So hopefully they can partner together so he can go to the doctor or go to a therapist, or maybe she could go with him so they can talk about these things and get on the same boat. And then, like you said, women, we go through menopause. The men may have a skyrocket because they got their testosterone stuff checked out. So it's very rare that we're like all on the same playing field. So that's why communication is so important.
It really is.
Because when you're low, I'm high. When I'm high, you're low. And then every once in a while we might meet in the middle, but
when you like
that's
25,
life.
26.
Yeah. And you know what? This is really good because I just got a vision.
Kind of vision.
In the sense of wraparound services. You know, you've got us, you've got Angela. I think it's
I'm sorry.
You know, I'm sorry, and I should, but no, wraparound services meaning that get these services to help you move forward. For one, you see look how we're talking. It's so comfortable. And I mean, I think you can pick up from our personalities that we like to have a very embracing, inviting atmosphere. And so do what you need to do. Don't be ashamed. I'm glad that we're doing this segment because it gives you guys an opportunity to have some real good dialogue, some healthy dialogue. And you change the trajectory of even the legacy when you have these conversations.
Absolutely.
My wife mentioned wraparound services. And so are you in partnership with a lot of urologists?
I'm on their referral list, right? Okay. So like I'm on urologists, gynecologists, so different kinds of doctors do refer to me because if they, just like he did, got tested, there's no ED issues, there's nothing wrong with his prostate, everything seems to be in order, then the next thing is, okay, let's figure out what's going on.
So what would they're just like, hey, there's nothing medically wrong with you.
Right.
So it has to be psychological.
It typically will be psychological, but just like he did, he dismissed the psychological before he even figured it out.
Or maybe he did, he just didn't include it, but Yeah. What about
It's hard for people to. I think it's hard for men to even talk about that. I want to now. Let me ask you this: is it harder for them to admit the psychological part than it is for the sexual? I mean, which one can when you really go there with them? Are they able? Are they able to receive it? You know, when you somewhat diagnose and say, hey, this is it. Let's work on this. I think this is where we might get some breakthrough. Do they receive it? Is it just how you pose it?
By the time they get to my door, they already have received it. You know,
that's like last hope.
Right. Yeah. By the time they get there, they're just like, I know it's something, and they've probably thought about it to see me way longer than they didn't just pick up the phone and call me immediately.
It takes a minute.
So by the time they get to me, they're ready. Yeah. They're just like, okay, let's talk about all this stuff
like
that's happening in my life.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
When the men call
like
us,
you said,
we know it's serious.
That's that last resort. I got to do this. Yeah, this is,
Exactly. Let me ask you this. When the doctors say that it's all in your head, how do we dismiss that stinking thinking, as Dr. Nettie says?
Well, you know, the thing is, a lot of medical doctors, and no shade on medical doctors, need to learn how to express certain things better. To say it's all in your head, anytime somebody is told that, even in a regular conversation, that means you're crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're kind of
negative connotation. Yeah. It's a negative connotation.
Right. It's almost like you're saying, you know, whatever it is, you know, that's all in your head.
Yeah. It's dismissive.
It is.
It's dismissive. Yeah.
But if the doctor says, you know, well, we didn't find anything physically wrong with you, and then maybe start gauging them and say, you know, have you been feeling down? How have you been sleeping? You know, it will be a good idea for you to maybe talk to somebody to see if there's anything else going on.
Gotcha.
If they just give that 2 sentences different, you know, that makes a world of a difference.
And it's a discussion opposed to being judged.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I would be upset if my doctor was like, girl, it's all in your head.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Are you saying I'm crazy?
Yeah.
You know, don't tell me that.
Super condescending.
Actually, but hold on. But you know what? I think that's a woman's natural response to say, hey, I'm not crazy or anything. But a man, we probably wouldn't think like that because, I mean, I've been told, you know, is this in your head? And I'm like, what?
See, but
and it wasn't there. Now all of a sudden, now you planted this seed, and now I can't stop thinking about it, right? This is like saying, don't look at it over there.
Right. So it needs to be proposed to you as maybe you need to talk about something, or maybe there's something else going on. Don't just say it is all in your head. There's a high possibility that you may need to seek therapy, may need to seek counsel, just to see if it is in your head.
Because you may be crazy. And we don't use the word crazy in
absolutely
our field.
not. But that's what it makes you feel like.
And say, you know, have you thought about? Would you be open to? I think that it could really be. I mean, really, where it's this, you know, this coming together of a caring. You know, I think that this might really think we should try this, and even speaking as, you know, as a team. You know, when you speak to them, I think so. The delivery is very, very important.
Very.
Even with the husbands and wives, as you're talking to each other about this. You know, I mean, you can offer what you can. I mean, wouldn't you say even setting an atmosphere kind of could help too, instead of just wanting, you know, I mean, massages, men are visual.
Yes.
You know, how you bringing it. Come on, ladies, how you bringing it, you know? So, I mean, I think there's a lot of factors too that it's not just all on him, but it is teamwork.
You know, and if you are in the middle of a sexual act and something happens, maybe he's unable to keep an erection, you don't want to be like, oh, what's wrong with you? Like, you know, you don't want to show irritation.
Totally,
You know, if you are concerned it is something you are doing, you know, you need to talk to them. The same way.
That will scar a man for life.
Right, but the same thing as for a man communicating to a woman. Say a woman is she's not able to be lubricant the whole time while she's having sex with you, which happens, right? They'll start nice and lubricated, and then all of a sudden it is dried out. Rather than saying, what's wrong with you? You know, you
switch it up.
You just switch it up. You know? Make it
a little squeaky.
Make it comfortable.
Yes, and that's where the whole foreplay, I mean, that's gotta be a serious date. It can't be, I mean, there's your quickies, but then there's gotta be a time that this is just about us. We got our music, we could take our time. We ain't going nowhere. You know, let's go back to the top. Then we'll go back to, you know, and I mean, you work it through, and you can. Even having certain like beverages next to your bed, you know, just to quench your thirst. Because I mean, like I said, it's a form of cardio.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Hey, look, we're about to wrap up, but you have any final thoughts for this letter writer?
You know, for him, I would say, you know, go ahead and talk to somebody. It's not going to hurt you, just like you went and talk to your urologist, you talk to your medical doctor, you talk to your you've talked to all the right, and I'm happy that he actually went to a urologist. I think that's great. But the next step is find someone you can talk to about what's going on in your life.
Okay.
it won't highly be focused on sex. We might not even be talking about your erectile dysfunction, but you may have things you just need to process, and you'll see how much lighter you feel if you actually do the therapy the way it's supposed to, the way you're supposed to.
Gotcha.
It's going to open a lot of doors.
Absolutely.
A lot of doors, and the walls will come down.
There you go. Those sugar walls.
Oh, see, now he's getting in the game. Okay, gang's all here. Good.
Anyway, why don't you tell, are you looking for new clients?
I'm always looking for new clients.
Why don't you tell our audience how they can find you?
You can reach me on my website at AngelaJonesPhD.com, or you could go on Instagram at Dr. Angela Jones. Okay. And then you just call the office, see what we have available.
Good.
She's also on the Isaiah Factor, and you can catch her. You can even catch her YouTubes and all, but you can catch her. She's Angela After Dark.
What's that, Wednesday night?
It's on Wednesday nights, on Isaiah Factor on Fox 26.
And don't forget, she's part of our Coach's Corner.
Yeah, she's our Coach's Corner.
on our radio show.
We're not going to let her go. We got her too. This has been great.
It has.
I'm so glad you came.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Any closing arguments?
Don't
forget the sponsor.
Yeah, I am going to do that. But I just want to say for the women, before I say something about a very special woman, and actually I will say, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to lead with her. There's a woman. She is our love guru, and her name is Benita Ledette. And she's a wonderful woman, and she believes in love. She believes in love, and she has a box that she's our sponsor. And this box really helps a woman get in touch with herself to love herself. And her theme is somebody loves you, baby. And the company is A Unique Heart. You've probably seen her, you've probably seen a lot of her packaging and her branding on our work, and she's also been on our show, on several shows. And so for the woman, for the wife, really get in touch with who you are. Really, really get in touch with who you are. If you want to contact us about that, because somebody loves you, baby, and she does conversations with Ledette. And so if you want to get in touch with who you are as far as the love thing with your journaling and things like that, you can also do that. And you can look us up. She has women that she works with, and it's not the counseling, it's not the same thing, but it's more so inspiration and motivational.
Empowerment.
And it's empowerment. It's just sister to sister, and it's very grassroots, and it's very sincere. So A Unique Heart, shout out to Benita Ledette. She loves us, loves on us.
Yes,
she is our she's our angel on foot. She really is. So I just want to say, ladies, you got to love yourself first.
Absolutely.
And at every time in your life, every period in your life. Sometimes we're heavier than we thought, but just embrace everything, Sometimes there's many things that can affect it. But even if it's just, embracing yourself, your children, your family, be that pillar, be that helpmeet, and just be that rib. It's going to all work out.
Yep, exactly. And for you men out there, I'm just going to piggyback on what Dr. Angela said. If you guys are experiencing any type of traumas that you may have been withholding from childhood, or any of these physical conditions, medication or, high blood pressure, whatever it may be, go see your urologist, get checked out, especially if you're over 50. There's certain tests that you should have anyway. So we want to thank our special guest.
Yeah, I love when she comes
Angela
on.
Jones.
Thank you so much.
And actually, she gets on me all the time, so Angela.
Angela, yes, she was here with us. You got her information.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. Make love, not war. Mwah. Bye.